What's up, guys? A bad Twitter video, and we just got the first episode of the Loki series on Disney Plus, and it was amazing. And it introduced us to more characters in the TVA, more of a Owen Wilson's character and Tom Hiddleston's character Loki, and Agent Mobius, and their chemistry is so good. I feel like they're gonna be a perfect duo in the series, and we actually got introduced to the TVA, what it's gonna be like for the series and for the rest of the series as well. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down episode 1 of the Loki series. But if you have not seen it, and if you're trying to avoid spoilers for this episode, click away now. But if you're still here, let's get into it. So the episode opens in the Battle of New York from Avengers Endgame in 2012. Loki is defeated, and then the Avengers take him and Thor back to Asgard to return the Tesseract. And then, out of nowhere, Hulk destroys everyone, allowing Loki to escape with the Tesseract, escaping from the 2012 timeline. Then he later appears in the Mongolian desert, where a bunch of people walk up to him, and then they look at him in a very strange way, and then they tries to convince him who he is, that he is Loki of Asgard, and he is burdened with glorious purpose. Next, the TVA agents come in, and they spot the Tesseract in the sand, and then they tell Loki that he is under arrest for the violation of the sacred timeline. And that means he escaped from his own timeline, because the Loki that we know from Avengers Infinity War is dead, but this is a different Loki. And so he escaped from his own timeline, and then which makes him a variant. Then right before the TVA agents take Loki in to arrest him, they slap him across the face, and that they're saying that he is moving at a slow speed and feeling all that pain in real time. And then they're taking Loki into the TVA, and then the TVA agents go to reset the timeline. And then he's being taken into the TVA, where he's being put into an elevator where a machine it takes off his clothes, where we see a shirtless Loki, and then he drops down into a TVA office in a uniform, in a jumpsuit. And then the TVA agent gave him the thing sign, and he says, "Please sign up to verify this is everything you ever said." And of course, because Loki is a blabbermouth. And then, as Loki is in the TVA, we are introduced to Miss Minutes, who is the mascot of the TVA. And then she walks through with Loki about how the time variance authority works. And so the tutorial started with the timekeepers bringing peace by reorganizing the multiverse into a single timeline, which is called the sacred timeline. And now that it's called the sacred timeline, that the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time and everyone and everything. And then for the people who step off the timeline, they're called variants. And with stepping off the timeline being called a variant, stepping off the path created what is called a nexus event. With the term nexus, we already experienced this in a WandaVision, where Wanda in the 7th episode was taking a nexus pill. And now in the Marvel Comics, Wanda Maximoff is a nexus being, something whose power can affect probability and change the flow of time. So such people are monitored by the TVA, and MCU Wanda ascended to Scarlet Witch status in WandaVision. And in the show's 7th episode, we also saw an ad for Nexus, which can anchor you back into your reality, or the reality of your choice. And so what the timekeepers did is that they created the TVA and all its incredible workers to make sure a timeline doesn't interfere with another, and if it did, it created a multiversal war. And that the timekeepers come to the rescue to fix the mistake by grabbing the person and taking him back to its place on the timeline. And then they must stand trial for the offenses, because they have no action and no place on the timeline once they're being brought back into the timeline. And with that, it's called the TVA for all time, always. Then the next scene takes place in France in 1549, where someone investigated a nexus event. And the next day they go to a girl, and in which she says someone attacked them, and then she points to a glass wall, and it might be a Mephisto, or it might be a Loki variant. The next, Loki goes to his trial, where he's in violation of escaping from his own timeline. And then the judge asks him, how do you plead? And then Loki responds by saying, a god doesn't plead. And then she says, are you guilty or not guilty? And then Loki says he is guilty. And that he is a trial because they're trying to erase him or maybe even kill him. And then Agent Mobius stands up and wants to stand up for Loki. And then he says he has an idea of what he's capable of. And then Mobius shows Loki that there is a magic here, but we see things floating around in the TVA headquarters. Is that when Loki was on trial, he was trying to use his magic, but the judge and the TVA prevented him from using his powers. And then Agent Mobius introduces himself to Loki, and then Loki asks, "Are you taking me to somewhere to kill me?" And then Mobius says, "No, that's where we just were. I'm taking you someplace to talk." And then he says, "Well, you do have to lie at what you just did, because we both know you love to talk." And then Loki asks, "How long have you been here?" And then Mobius answers him saying, "I don't know, it's hard to say. Time passes differently here in the TVA." And then Loki says to him that Mobius was creative about the timekeepers to protect the sacred timeline. And then when Mobius tells Loki to sit down, he uses a device that prevents him from moving around, and that time passes and moves differently in the TVA, so that he moves on Mobius's command. And then Mobius shows Loki of what he's done, from being defeated in the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie, and then from him killing Agent Phil Coulson. Then the rest of the footage is from the Battle of New York when he asks them, "Do you enjoy hurting people?" And then Mobius showed Loki of how he scammed people, and then we see him on a plane and in a suit and his hair back, and then he says to the flight attendant that he has a bomb and make everyone come off the plane. Then next we see his bag filled with money, and then he believes at the lady, and they said, "Brother and Heimdall, you better be ready." So that means we could be seeing Thor as a cameo in the Loki series. And this is because he lost a bet to Thor, and that he was young and he was trying to be DB Cooper. And Loki escapes from Mobius, and then he goes into an office, pressuring someone named Casey to give him the Tesseract. And then right as Casey gives Loki the Tesseract, he looks in the drawer, and then he sees in the paperweights, he sees the Infinity Stones. That means that the TVA watched Thanos snap his fingers, or watched half the universe die, while the TVA still had a spare version of the stones. And then we see Loki back in the room, and now enjoying memories of him and his brother Thor, and this is probably the events of Thor Ragnarok. And then he plays the event where we got killed at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, where he was choked by Thanos, and to Thanos killing him. And then Loki takes off his security necklace and puts on the TVA agent, and then he is doing it on his command now. And now he's controlling the TVA agent under his command. And then Loki says to Agent Mobius that he can't go back into his own timeline. And then he says he doesn't enjoy hurting people. And then the reason why is because he had to do it because he had to. And so Agent Mobius needs Loki to tell him stop if each of the variant who's been killing their Minuteman, and he's asking him to go with him. And it's because the variant that they're hunting down is Loki. And then the ending is set in Oklahoma, 1858. And then the reason why the TVA agents are there is that they're to hunt down Loki, their variant. And then we spot female Loki who drops and sets a fire across the woods, and then the TVA agents try to get out by trying resetting the timeline, but then it doesn't work. And then it fades to black and the credits roll. And so what this means that Mobius needs Loki to help them hunt down the variant, which is Loki, because he's a variant for escaping his own timeline. Yeah, so I feel like with the other Lokis, I feel like there's gonna be different variant Lokis, like versions of Loki, like in this series, and with that cliffhanger, it sets up so much more for this series. So yeah, that is gonna be it for this video, guys. I can't wait for episode 2 next week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you enjoy the first episode of the Loki series? Rated like 1 out of 10. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter for live updates. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.